I want to talk a little bit about something that Senator from Arizona, Mark Kelly, said, and a piece that Mediaite put out about it, and kind of the larger discussion within the Democratic Party that I think should be had about this subject. So it's all centered around the border. And because Mark Kelly understands a lot of his citizens, because Arizona is on the southern border, are concerned with that issue, that the Democratic Party isn't properly addressing this. And I'll say, kind of as a disclaimer or as an upfront spoiler, my position on this is that the Republican Party's stance is completely substanceless. It's completely empty. They don't actually have a solution other than some of them who just have horrible, evil intentions towards migrants that believe literally that it would be justified to just be killing them as they're coming across. And so that is not what we should be talking about when saying the Democratic Party needs to have a solution to the southern border. What I mean is a lot of people who don't even have that bad stance on immigration are just saying something seems a little bit broken with our process because the border's hectic, right? And so we need to have a good message that is more than what the Democratic Party currently does, which is kind of just ignore it, but instead say, here's what we're doing to try to address the border. That is focused on the humanity of people, but then also the further, flourishing of the United States and its citizens as well. And my way of doing that is through a much better and more efficient legal process, because the reason we have so much undocumented immigration is because of the bad legal process we have. But the reason why that legal process has not been improved is because many in the Republican Party, I would say almost all in the Republican Party, as well as some in the Democratic Party, don't like the idea of making our legal process more efficient because they want to fearmonger about immigrants being horrible. Here's this piece from Mediaite. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, who won re-election 2 weeks ago, reflected on the state of the Democratic Party and offered some tough love in an interview with the Washington Post's Karen, Tumulty, published Monday. Tumulty, a columnist and the deputy editorial page editor at the Post, asked Kelly directly what he thinks are the, quote, lessons for other Democrats going forward, especially when it comes to what it takes to win in hard places. Kelly, who many see as a leader of the Democratic Party and a possible future presidential contender, replied by telling Tumulty that he campaigned everywhere and didn't ignore Republican strongholds in the state. This is one of the things he said. When you're running for the United States Senate or any statewide office, you've got to go and talk to everybody and talk to them about things they care about, whether it's the cost of gasoline or, especially in southern Arizona, about the border, which is a crisis. You can't ignore that in Arizona. It's been chaos down there at times for decades. Now, the reason why that's notable is many Democrats, I would say almost all Democrats, stray away from using a word like that, crisis. Now, how you define crisis, whether the border falls into that, is completely subjective. But I think recognizing that people, not just super fearful of immigrants people, maybe just perfectly moderate Democrats, whatever, understand, or progressives, that something isn't right with the way we manage our southern border. And something's causing it to be much more unorganized and setting up a situation where it can be pointed as a problem, right? And so we have to do a good job of both confronting and debunking the lies that the Republican Party tells about the border, while also offering up good solutions. And so we covered recently Marjorie Taylor Greene. Her favorite thing to say is, Joe Biden's opened up the borders and that's why there's so much fentanyl. But then we looked in the specifics and said, wait, that's weird. You're saying that more immigration or more undocumented immigration, or as she would say, illegal immigration, is to blame for the fentanyl rise we've seen. But the way that fentanyl comes across our border is through legal ports of entry and U.S. citizens doing that process. Okay, so you don't actually care about the problem of fentanyl. Oh, I see, okay. You just wanted to attack Joe Biden by immigration. You just hate immigrants. Now I got it. But from the perspective of the Democratic Party, we got to do that part. Number one, you're wrong. And then offer up a solution that is better than the one that they are proposing, or the lack thereof, proposal-wise, from them. And that's how I think we prevail. And so it's the same thing with crime. We've talked about in the past how it's so strange that the Democratic Party strays away from talking about crime and lets the Republican Party just pummel their face in about it. Because when you look at the top 10 highest violent crime or homicide, one of the two states in the United States, 8 out of 10 of them are red states. And you look at all these different specifics about Republican governance over Democratic governance, and so often these statistics shed very poor light on the Republican Party. And so why not fight on these issues, advocate on behalf of the correct position instead of straying away from them? So if that's what Mark Kelly is advocating for, then I'm on board. But just simply recognizing it's a problem is just part of it. Then you have to propose a really good solution. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.